Hello YouTube, it's me John Avenger once again and welcome back to another video. This is the Rotten Tomatoes month. We finally got to the month of June 1st, 2018, and I know the sound will be better here. I'm using my phone. My first review is going to be, instead of Fast and the Furious 4, I'm going to do that next time. It's going to be a action film, an action comedy crime film from 2003, starring the great Harrison Ford in a role that he doesn't die in. And also Josh Hartnett is the lead, and that is the 2003 flop, which didn't deserve to flop, Hollywood Homicide. This movie's freaking awesome. It got a score of 33%, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes. 30%. So it's a rotten. I don't think this movie deserved it. It was a huge summer movie that didn't have a lot of hype behind it because this wasn't Star Wars, so. And, it was a Harrison Ford movie that I really enjoy. I saw it again. I heard the commentary from Ron Shelton, who directed it. And it's a really fun movie. I think it's very underrated. Like, if you haven't seen this movie, I would recommend it. If The Force Awakens pissed you off, see this movie instead. Because Harrison Ford has a lot more to do. He has more chemistry with Josh Hartnett. He's, he does a lot of the own stunt work. I could just do it like this. And, he does a lot of things that's way better than anything he did in The Force Awakens. What did he do in that movie? He has one good scene with Chewie. He talks. He's in one action scene. And he meets his son and then he dies. Yeah, fuck you, J.J. Abrams. And the writers. And Kathleen Kennedy. In this movie, there's an interrogation scene where he's on the cell phone. And he said this is bullshit. And there's a scene with... There's a shootout with him and Josh Hartnett in the streets. And these black guys are shooting at him. This has a massive ensemble cast because you got Harrison Ford as Casey. Wait, he's whatchamacallit? Police Detective John Gavilan. Really cool name. Let me read the synopsis. This action comedy is guaranteed to keep you on the edge of your seat and in stitches. Yeah, I laughed a lot on this movie because Harrison's great in it. Starring Harrison Ford and Josh Hartnett, Hollywood Homicide redefines the buddy cop genre. In Hollywood, no one is who they really want you to be. Exactly. Winkety wink wink, KK. Okay, veteran police detective Joe Gavilan and his rookie partner Casey Calden, that's Josh Hartnett, are no exception. Between Joe's struggling real estate business and Casey's fledgling acting career and yoga instruction, they got a major murder case to solve. With both internal affairs and their main suspects on their tails, Joe and Casey have to infiltrate the dangerous world of the hip-hop recording industry. That was dangerous from the start ever since Biggie and Tupac passed away in the mid-90s. Because, that was really, really dark. That was a dark day. And also, juggling two careers proves to be a comical adventure, with Joe and Casey desperate to stay alive long enough to catch their big break. This also has Keith David. It has rappers Corrupt, Master P, Andre 3000 Benjamin, and Anthony Mackie has a cameo in this movie. He dies in it, so he's not in it that much. He's like in a minute. You also have Lolita Davidovich and Isaiah Washington as the main villain. He's a black villain. Yeah, it's kind of typical for a buddy cop movie, but at least it's two white guys and the villain's black. Hey, there's some diversity there. Usually it's a white guy and a black guy against a white guy. So here at least it's a little different than Mission Impossible. I mean, not Mission Impossible. I meant Lethal Weapon. Anyway, yeah, the movie's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen this movie, I would recommend it. It's about almost 2 hours. It's 116 minutes. It doesn't drag on for 2.5 hours. And I wasn't bored to death like I was with First Class, where nothing happens. It's flashbacks, German, some special effects that look like shit. A bunch of characters throwing out names, a bunch of characters die, and the villain becomes a villain at the end, and nothing happens, and Wolverine is in a cameo. What was there to like about that movie? Fuck that movie. That movie got like a 90% or something like that, or 78%, and it didn't deserve it. This movie's better. It's also a PG-13, but it's not pussified. There's not a lot of CG in it. There's a lot of good stunt work. Ron Shelton knows how to direct these freaking actors. Josh Hartnett is hilarious. I could relate to him because he's the younger guy on the job. And, his yoga instruction was funny because he just wants to hang around beautiful women, sleep with them. There's a scene where he's doing From a Streetcar Named Desire where the scene where Marlon Brando hits his girlfriend and then he rips his shirt and then he's like, "Yo, Stella!" It's a really good acting scene. He's a good actor, Josh Hartnett. We need to see more of him and less of Baega. Also, yeah, one problem with the movie, the girls don't do much. Like, Lena Olin is in the movie, but she only is in a couple of scenes, and she's just a love interest to Harrison Ford. That's it. Their chemistry is eh. I don't really care. And she's not a Brit, so don't say, "Oh, you're racist." She's like Swedish or something. She's not British. And also, Bruce Greenwood is in the movie. He plays a corrupt cop that's on the case that tries to screw over Josh Hartnett and Harrison Ford to frame him for the murders of what happened to these rappers. And yeah, and he gets arrested at the end. And I'm like, yeah, all fair in love and war, man. And the film is a lot of fun. It's fast paced. It never slows down, except for the scenes with Lena Olin and Lolita Devovich, who is barely in the movie. She's like in like a few scenes and then she disappears. The scenes with Josh Hartnett are fun to watch. His acting is really good on stage, and you know, him and Harrison Ford have a good rapport. It doesn't feel long. The writing is pretty decent. The jokes are funny. There's a scene where corrupt one of the rappers falls into a pond with the and he's covered in duck crap, and then Josh Hartnett jumps in there and he tries to get him, and then he arrests him. And I'm like, yeah, it knows what it is. This movie knew what it was. It didn't deserve to flop. It came out in like August of 2003. There was a huge blackout here in the East Coast, so nobody went to the theater that week, and that's what affected it. It wasn't the writer's strike because that was a few years later, and Harrison Ford was still a box office draw at that time. He's a really good actor. I love seeing him in this movie. It's something different he did. He did a lot of movies where he played like a cop or something like that, you know, like an authority figure. And here, he played the President of the United States, by the way, in Air Force One, which is a great freaking movie. And here, you know, he knows what he's doing. Harrison has a script to work with. Who wrote the movie? Ron Shelton, Ron Shelton and Robert Souza. They did a good job. They didn't put stupid fart jokes in it. They don't have SJW agendas in this movie. The leads are guys and they work, unlike Brolo, which came out last week and bombed. This movie bombed, but at least it has a kind of a following. And I would recommend it to you guys on the Nerd Pack because it's really a lot of fun. And it doesn't deserve a 30%. I have seen action movies that came out the last 5 years that got higher ratings and they were horrible. Even if they just got like a 40 or 50%, they're still worse. Way freaking worse than this. This almost got the same rating as Suicide Squad, and that's a way worse movie. That has horrible CGI. It's boring. It made money. The only good thing was Will Smith. Here, I like the two leads. Decent side cast for the most part. Fast paced, good action, good laughs. Fun freaking movie. So, I wish this movie had gotten a sequel. I would have loved to have seen a sequel with these two guys. It's a buddy cop movie that works. It's not the race thing because you know we had enough of that already. Like I said, Lethal Weapon, Rush Hour, Cop Out. We've seen it before. Cop Out was just one of the worst. Like I hated that movie. This movie is a lot of fun. Don't listen to critics. They don't know what they're talking about. 2 thumbs up by Ebert and Roper. Yes, I would agree. This is a really fun movie. It's a good movie. It looks great. They don't shake the freaking camera. I can see what's going on. There's a car chase in this movie that I love to death because there's a scene where Harrison Ford he tries to hijack a guy's car and he's too tough, so he steals this girl's bike, and I'm like, oh Harrison, you never cease to amaze me, man. J.J. Abrams didn't know what to do with you. He's like, we're gonna bring you back and we're gonna kill you. Here, he doesn't die, and he's vulnerable. He's freaking a human being. He's not a freaking supernatural being that can't be touched. No. Harrison and Josh Hartnett are very likable. They have problems like everybody else, and they have a lot of humorous moments that work very well. I would definitely recommend this to anybody on the Nerd Pack that has never seen this. It's funny. It's a little. It's not long. It's almost 2 hours, and unlike Brolo, it at least costs less. It does, and the budget's on the screen. There's no bad CGI. There's no freaking SJW agendas. There's no robots. There's no freaking British chick. It's an all-American movie for when you think about it. Yeah. And that's what I want. Because I'm sick and tired of the foreigners being in everything. Sometimes You got to just let a movie be American. Stop trying to make it Britishized or freaking UKized or freaking Europeanized. No, just stop. Just stop. Okay? You have enough on your plate already, Hollywood. Just stop trying to pander to everybody. When you do that, Brolo. Yeah. You get a movie that flopped that had no chance in hell of beating Deadpool 2. So, you reap what you sow, man. But anyway, this movie's good. It didn't deserve to flop. It doesn't deserve a 30%. And it doesn't deserve the low rating on IMDb. It got like a 5 point something. It's way better than that, guys. Ignore the critics on this one. Trust me. It's less boring than Fast and the Furious 4. I can easily say that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this video makes up for the last one. There will be sound. I'm going to test this video before I post it. And I'll see you. More Rotten Tomatoes month is on the way. I'm going to review a lot of films this month, whether you've heard about them or not. Like I said, I'm doing this YouTube channel for my fans and for you guys that have been watching since the very beginning, before I even was in the Nerd Pack in 2013, 2014, 2015. Yeah, and so on and so forth. See you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.